You're listening to The Morning Buzz.
The Morning Buzz.
The Morning Buzz.
The Morning Buzz on 90.3. 90.3.
90.3.
90.3 WMSC.
WMSC.
WMSC Upper Montclair.
Upper Montclair, New Jersey.
That's right. You're listening to The Morning Buzz here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, New Jersey. I am Josh, a.k.a. Josh.
You are really excited today, Josh. I love that. I'm the
Called
co-host.
sarcasm, Kenny. I'm joined with a plethora of people. My favorite word. I'm just kidding. Plethora, I think, is a weird word. But, alas, it's besides the
I
point.
am the co-host, and I have a new nickname. I am Kenny Horn, the man of 1,001 nicknames. That's a big deal. Today, we are joined by our newscaster / events host.
Guys, this is crazy. I'm putting double duty on today. It's Isaiah. You know what? I guess I'll go for it. For now, we'll stick with top 5 Isaiah.
Top 5 Isaiah. It's pretty good. I
Top
like
five
it.
nickname.
I like it.
I like it. And our sportscaster.
Excuse me. I was just adjusting my mic. How are you?
That's right. Thank you, Tommy Bavaro, for doing our sportscast today. I really appreciate it. Now, we've got a lot of good stories today. We have an interview later with a sustainability expert talking about a new science-based show that we're going to have on the station. But before we get into all that and more, Isaiah, first newscast ever. Take it away.
First one, here we go. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz. I'm Isaiah Ramirez, and today's top stories are: President Joe Biden has announced in a virtual climate change conference that the United States will aim to cut the country's carbon emissions to at least 52% by the year 2030. There is no plan given to supplement this pledge. India has reported over 300,000 COVID-19 cases in just 24 hours, with over 2,000 deaths in the same span. India is currently undergoing an oxygen shortage as the country struggles to keep up with the growing numbers. They are now second to the United States in cases. Montclair Middle Schools will reopen to the students May 10th. The middle schools Glenfield, Buzz Aldrin, and Renaissance will utilize a hybrid plan, partially online, partially in person, to allow students to return. No word on when the high schools will reopen. Expect a cold and gloomy day today. Take in some nice clouds and 50-degree temps today. Bring a coat. Today is a low whopping 34 degrees. Guys, this is disgusting. This concludes the newscast. I'm Isaiah Ramirez, and I don't like the cold.
It was
love the cold.
freezing outside.
Wait, it's still cold out there?
Yes.
It was
Good.
so
Oh my
cold.
God.
Good.
See, I like the cold, but when I got a bone to pick with people who love spring. You know, they're like, "Oh, I love spring." You know, that 1 month of May where it's nice outside. This is spring too, and I'm so annoyed that it's April 22nd and it's 34 degrees outside. It's almost freezing.
It's 37 in my area.
Unbelievable.
Well,
I
don't
love
worry
the
about
cold.
it. It'll
Keep
actually,
coming.
it'll actually start
coming.
getting warm, very hot soon. Within a
Lower
week.
the
Exactly.
temperature.
That's even worse because it's so cold now, and then tomorrow it's gonna be like who knows how many degrees, and then the next day who knows. It's just a gamble. Every day you wake up in spring, it's a gamble. Whether you should bring your coat, whether you should just go out without a shirt on. It's just come on, pick a temperature.
Lower the temperature. Make it smaller. Come on.
Oh my
Kenny,
God,
just
Kenny,
move north. I'm gonna tell
stop.
you something.
I
Just
would
go.
love to. Do one of the, how people have dream vacations. My dream vacation is Alaska.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
I just died internally. I want to go home.
Oh, luckily for you, you are home.
I am home. I'm safe here.
You're safe. Top 5 homes.
Top 5 homes. Actually, yeah, okay.
Oh man, there was some crazy news in that newscast.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
But before
Especially-
we talk about our news stories for the day, Tommy, can you tell us what's going on in the sports world? Because God knows I don't know.
Well, you get to know some of them eventually, but we'll go into it. So today, to start off with today's sportscast, the Phillies beat the San Francisco Giants 6-5. Yankees fell to the Atlanta Braves 1-4, and the Mets were embarrassed by the Chicago Cubs 4-16. The Yankees are on the road today, taking on the Cleveland Indians at 6:10 p.m., and the Mets look to rebound against the Cubs tonight at 7:40 p.m. NBA 76ers fell short to the Phoenix Suns 113-116. The Nets lost 114-103 by the Toronto Raptors, and the Knicks continued to dominate as they beat the Atlanta Hawks in overtime 137-127. The Knicks have now won 8 straight games. The 76ers look to rebound tonight as they are taking on the Milwaukee Brewers on the road at 7 p.m. In the NHL, all local teams play at 7 p.m. tonight. Rangers host the Flyers at MSG, the Islanders host the Washington Capitals, and the Devils are on the road taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Devils were officially eliminated from playoff contention on Tuesday. And to wrap up for today's sportscast, there's one Montclair sports game that will be taking place today. The men's baseball team, is on the road taking on Kane University at 3:30 p.m. And just a friendly reminder, next week is the NFL draft. That concludes your sportscast for today.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, the thing about, was it Kane? I've never understood their pronunciation.
Keen?
Is it Keen?
It's Kane, yeah. It's technically, it's like spelled out in Keen, but it's technically pronounced Kane.
But I've heard it both ways, and it confuses me.
Yeah, I know some friends that go to the Kane, and they tell me it's Kane. So
Okay.
I agree with them.
Who are they to say? Are they Keen himself?
That's true.
I'll tell you, there's a soccer player. Speaking of soccer, you guys heard about that Super League?
It doesn't
Oh,
exist.
The league
yeah.
that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think
I was so sad it didn't make it to Thursday because I wanted to talk about it. But,
the European Soccer League.
Soldiers.
Yeah, I think they folded or something. I'm not
they
huge to
folded.
soccer, so I gotta look that up.
That was the wildest turn of events, though, because
That
like they
was
announced it.
a
insane.
wild 3 days.
Yeah.
And this will segue into our UK contributor, Mia. I know, of course, soccer/football is way bigger over there. And there were 6 Premier League teams that were supposedly supposed to join. But how were the reactions to that over there? Did you see any of that like unfold firsthand?
A lot of people online and social media and that they felt betrayed almost. I'm I'm not particularly into football and I don't quite understand it, but it I mean all the 6 clubs have removed themselves, and a lot of the football club managers have apologized for even trying to do it. But yeah, the fans, I don't think I actually came across any football fan that was for the Super League at all.
Yeah.
Can someone explain what the Super League is? Because I'm really confused for the past
All
few
right,
minutes. and I'm
so
feeling left
basically, I'll tell you, Kenny.
Thank
So
you.
like the 18th, it was announced that 12 clubs across 3 leagues in Europe. So 6 English teams, 3 Spanish teams, and 3 Italian leagues, like the top of the top, were all going to leave their leagues and create their own league of like the best teams, basically, to kind of enhance competition so that they didn't have to share money with the smaller clubs.
That's awesome.
You see that? I feel like whenever I tell people about it, they say that's awesome. The people who don't know about soccer, but it was a big deal because they kind of just they sprung it, but then the reaction to it was not taken greatly. The fans didn't appreciate it, and FIFA and UEFA even went so far as to threaten to ban any players who play for these teams, threaten to ban them from international play. So they wouldn't be able to play in the World Cup. They wouldn't be able to play in the Champions Series. They wouldn't be play in the UEFA Cup, the Club World Cup, any of those things. They would be barred from international matches.
Okay, that's not awesome.
Yeah, that's not awesome.
That is not awesome.
I mean, the idea of it does sound good, but it kind of impacts Premier League, Champions League, Euros, and a few other things as well. So, yeah, I think the reactions made it bad, and that's why they've just fully pulled the idea, like totally.
Well, at least they're responding to public opinion. But this is an interesting topic, but that's about all the words I have about it. So Mia, can you take us to the news of what's going on in the UK, a place much fancier than us?
Well, originally I was actually going to talk about the Super League, but since we've
Oh,
covered that, never
well,
mind.
A segue. I'm a professional. Everybody doubts me. I hate this. I'm muting myself.
So the coronavirus no longer is the main cause of deaths in England and Wales, some figures show. COVID-19 was the third leading cause of death in both countries in March, behind dementia and heart disease. However, coronavirus was the leading cause of death each month from November to February. The latest figures come at a time of concern over new COVID-19 variants. Now the leading cause of deaths is dementia and Alzheimer's disease in England, accounting for 10.1% of all fatalities registered that month in March, according to the data from the Office of National Statistics.
That, first of all, that's great news. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I will say that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not the Super League, but the thing, and this is a side point to this story, but what is like, how, I'm trying to find the words for this because I don't know, because I can never imagine this being the case, but how is dementia Alzheimer's that prevalent? Because I know it's also a thing here, but 10%?
Yeah. Do you know what's weird, actually? Quick little side note. My mum has always said dementia and Alzheimer's are the same thing. So I have no idea if they are the same thing or not.
Technically,
One causes
dementia
the
is when you start losing your memory, but Alzheimer's is when you're diagnosed with having dementia and you're going to have the progressive decline in your memory that will eventually result in death because you just forget how to breathe.
So the difference is really is one, you just get diagnosed with it, but they're pretty much the same thing. They both lead, dementia basically leads into Alzheimer's. Okay.
For the most part.
I'm not actually too sure why they're so like prominent here. It's also I always wondered why Asperger's and autism isn't as prominent in the US. Like I don't hear a lot of.
It's more common in the UK?
Yeah, like I currently it's a bit weird to say, but I have like a radar for people with autism. So I could literally sit in a room with 10 or so people and I'd be able to pick out, like, say 3 of them have Asperger's. I'd be able to basically just sit in the room, watch them interact with each other, and then that's it. I could pick out who has Asperger's. So I found out at work, I recently started a new job, and before I even got to know 3 individual men, I figured out that they actually are on the spectrum. So it's very, very common here, and the amount of like Twitter posts and that I see of how the US kind of treat people with Asperger's.
Yeah.
It's quite disheartening, really, because they can't help it. That's just them. I was reading this article that I can't remember what the company was called, but they were doing studies on how to cyberbully autistic people into stopping their like routines. You know how sometimes they'll like set up things in different ways. It's a bit like OCD in a way.
Yeah, of course.
They said they'd try and cyberbully. They were going to cyberbully like these people out of doing what makes them feel comfortable, just so their parents could feel comfortable. It's just a bit messed up. So yeah, I find that dementia, Alzheimer's, autism, and Asperger's, they're very, very prominent here. And I have no idea why. It's probably maybe because we have obviously the mental health team and we have free healthcare. So maybe that could like lead into it a bit, because then they
More room
send
for
out
diagnosis.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, they have more of a bigger statistic then, because people are more likely to go and get help because it's free.
And it's important to note that, and I was told this by our general manager at WMSC, because I would not have thought of this, that a lot of dementia, it's just natural with age. And
Yeah.
when you take that into account with heart disease and stuff like that, we're getting more medically advanced as well as just technologically advanced. We're able to better fight off those things. And I'm sure in the UK, heart disease isn't as a problem, as much of a problem as is in the US, because as a whole, we have a much higher obesity rate, at least I would assume.
I did find out actually in Wales it's very prominent, heart diseases. I think I have one of these statistics here. So it says ischemic. I don't know. Heart disease was the leading cause of deaths, accounting for 11.8% of all fatalities in Wales. That was in March, I think. So, yeah.
But with
that's quite a bit.
These medical advancements, I think that's definitely going to go down, but that's going to bring the age up, which is a good thing. But that's going to have like an inverse relationship where dementia will probably become more common.
Yeah. I mean, there's no cure for dementia. It's just one of those things that happens. It's almost as if it's like bad eyesight. As you get older, your eyesight gets worse and worse, and obviously your memory is going to be the same, except there's just people at different levels of that. It's like a spectrum. So there's some people down here that are likely to lose their memory over 10 years, but then there's some people here who are likely to lose their memory over 5 or 3 years as well. So there's just different levels of it, and they all need help, really.
Yeah, it's good to note that, there's this point for medical advancements for heart disease and other illnesses, sicknesses, and that obviously there's no current cure, but there is a treatment plan for dementia, Alzheimer's, and that could definitely be improved with the future as well.
Yeah. At the moment, I don't know if what kind of treatment are you thinking?
I personally don't know what the treatment is, but I know there is some treatment for it, because I had a grandfather who got diagnosed with it. I know he had treatment for it. I don't remember what it was, but
yeah.
Well,
I know that a lot of care homes, they take a lot of Alzheimer patients in, and they just look after them, because then that care home becomes their home, and it takes the stress away from their families having to spare time to look after their elderly relatives. But that's I think that's really the only treatment that I know of. It's literally just care homes and younger people looking after older people. That's about it, really.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically what he had before, but before he was into a care home, my grandfather, he would like go out on like these drives, like 80 miles an hour and not remembering where he is.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess what's miles and kilometers in UK?
I actually have no idea.
Well, we have calculators for it. We don't need to do conversion.
Yeah, calculators. I don't know what the conversion is. If I knew the conversion, I could do it for you. That's not the point though. But there was a journal actually released yesterday, and it says, and this is amazing, we can actually segue back to the main topic. Dementia's been associated with COVID-19 prevalence, but it's reflecting a higher infection in older age patients. So what do you think about that?
I mean, there's
Wait, I need to interrupt you. We have a hot take conversion rate. So 1.6 kilometers to a mile. So off the top of my head, that is 108 kilometers per hour. There you go.
Math.
We're good. You're welcome. Sorry, continue.
I hear a lot of stuff about COVID-19, and now it's about the COVID-19 vaccine as well. The other day I saw an article. I didn't really want to read into it because it didn't concern me. But apparently unvaccinated women who have had miscarriages have said that it's linked to being in contact with people who have had the vaccine. But how does that make sense? Because nobody said that COVID-19 affects pregnant women when they come in contact. Nobody said like there have been miscarriages because of COVID-19. So how has unvaccinated women who have had miscarriages all of a sudden linking that to vaccinated people? Because it's not to do with them. It's not their physical body. A miscarriage is to do with their physical body, their insides. So if they haven't had the vaccine, how does that affect them?
Is that something that's like commonly said in the UK?
No, I haven't heard. Okay, you hear about fake news and then there's like UK fake news, and it's just a load of people online thinking that their opinions matter. So they they end up saying some stuff, not giving any evidence, not giving any facts, no statistics or anything. They're just saying things, and then it's turned into news, fake news. It's spread everywhere, and it's just pointless. I haven't actually heard anything about coronavirus affecting the elderly with Alzheimer's or causing Alzheimer's.
That was just released yesterday.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. If that does affect it, because if an elderly person gets COVID-19, obviously their immune system isn't going to be able to fight it off in a sense as much as like younger generations. So obviously it would take a toll on their mental state, mental health as well. I mean, COVID-19 has taken a big toll on mental health issues and people who suffer from mental health. I mean, I think the one mental health issue that was highest in 2020 was depression, because of all the lockdowns, because of people having to isolate and not being able to talk or see who they want to see and all of that. So, I mean, obviously it's going to take a bit of have a negative effect on everyone's mindset, I guess.
Yeah, we're social creatures.
Yeah.
It's only natural. That's why we are up at 8:24 in the morning, or I don't know, 11:24, 12:24, whatever it is for you.
1:24.
1:20.
Yeah.
I keep on getting more jealous. 1:24, just talking.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I've been up since 9, so.
I've been up since 7. But do you have any thoughts with this, Josh, Isaiah, either of you?
Well, the whole thing that was going through my mind through all this is that it keeps reminding me that like having Alzheimer's is like one of the scariest things. Like one of my deepest fears in life is to like be at that older age and suddenly start to forget everything around you. And it's just so sad to me, where it's like your whole life you make all these memories, and then one day over time it's just like gone. And you have no control over it. It's just, it either happens or it doesn't happen to you. Much like anything, like as you get older. I'm just scared of being old, if that makes sense. It's one of my deepest fears. Another deep fear of mine is becoming bald, and that better not happen.
I mean, that doesn't
That's
look
a
like it will
top
happen.
5 fear.
I don't think so, but if it does, I'm getting a wig, guys. I will fully accept a
Yeah,
wig.
you
5
see,
wigs.
I like my hair, but I feel like being bald, I just go with it.
No, I
Spend less money
can't.
on shampoo.
I'd look like an egg, and not a good egg.
Exactly. You
A
just
very
embrace the inner
rotten looking
egg.
egg. And then I'd have to grow out like facial hair or something to like match the baldness. I don't know.
You go the bald beard look.
I would have to. You can't just go bald everywhere
No,
because
of
then
course
you're
not.
definitely an egg.
Then you're Mr. Clean.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, you can just go ahead.
No, Josh.
Who
Josh,
says
be real here.
I'm
If
being
you
real?
okay, you go into the mirror, right?
Yeah,
You're bald in your head, and you're like, today
amazing.
I need to shave my beard off. No,
Why would you
it's
shave your beard off?
well, if you want the bald and bald look like Mr. Clean.
Oh no, not
See?
bald.
Okay,
bald.
exactly.
I thought you meant like leaving the freaking
You never go
Oh,
full
the
Danny
Homer
bald.
DeVito
Simpson.
strip on the back.
The
Like
Homer
if
Simpson?
anything, you leave like
Yeah.
at least a mustache, like a goatee, something. It has to,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
go full bald.
No,
No, I agree.
I had
I mean, some people have to.
I had a photography teacher, and he was all bald. He shaved his face as well,
That's Sir Patrick Stewart.
but he had so much like chest hair. He wore really tight tops, but you could see the chest hair poking out near his neck, and then his arms were just covered. And I was like,
Oh man,
has your body like
his hair retreated. It
yeah,
retreated south.
it's gone everywhere
It
else.
went south
except
for
his
the
head.
old age.
It was a good look.
Oh,
those are the kind of people that gross me out a little bit. I'm like, "Ugh." And like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I see it, I'm like, yeah.
Maybe I'll commit to that look then.
You'll commit to that look.
Yeah, full on chest hair. Never shave it
You
ever.
have to start retreating south.
Oh, what if I braid my chest hair, huh?
Oh,
Nope, you're done.
now
You're done. You're
You're
done.
going too far.
We're cutting you off. We're going too far.
We're cutting you off. You've been listening to the Morning Buzz here at 94.3 WMC Upper Montclair. When we get back, we have more news and stuffs for you. We have an interview coming up, very special indeed, as a part of a joint collaborative, that seems a joint initiative. WMSC will be working with the PSENG Institute for Sustainability Studies, and we are launching a new show that discusses all things Earth Day and the Earth and sustainability. I'm very excited because this is the first science show we have at the station. And joining us today is Dr. Amy Tuininga, the director of said institute. Welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me here today.
Thank you for joining us.
It's great to have you. So let's get right into it. This show, I don't remember if Josh said it or not, is called the Refresh. So what inspired having this show?
That's right. Well, I feel like we're at a turning point as far as all of the efforts that have gone into addressing all of the challenges that we've faced in the world with climate change, with the environmental kinds of initiatives that people have been putting so much effort into. And now, governments are joining in, and large companies are joining in, and small communities are joining in. And I think we're at a point where we can really make the difference, and it's urgent now. And so, Earth Day is a really good time to kind of take stock of where we are, where we've been, how we've gotten where we are, and what needs to be done. And it's urgent now because we have very limited time left to make that change in a way that's going to really kind of stem the flow of all these extreme weather events and things like that. So the refresh is taking a look back at some of the things that we've done with our Green Teams projects. And I can talk more about those, but bringing those students and those graduates on to say what they did a few years ago and where they are now and how they're addressing some of these issues in their jobs and in their graduate programs.
Yeah, it's great. And like Josh said, this is the station's first official science show. We sometimes talk about scientific breakthroughs and have had guests talk about science, but we've never had a dedicated show about science. And this one specifically, it's going to have interviews and features about green teams, the green teams internship program. It was initiated, a transdisciplinary internship program targeted to upper level undergraduates, and exceptional rising sophomores may also be considered. And these were all just to address sustainability. And important on addressing sustainability, this past week, days in April, PSEG has been hosting webinars about sustainability in celebration of Earth Month. Can you tell us about the webinars?
Yeah, they've been great. We really, last year when the pandemic hit, we pivoted everything virtual, and we had a whole month of SIP talks to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And this year we decided to focus a lot on a local community, Montclair, the township of Montclair. So we've had the mayor and some of the council members join us, and we've covered topics so far of sustainable transportation and sustainable food systems and sustainable living. And tonight we'll be doing sustainable business. And so it's really, taking a look locally at what's happening and what still needs to be done and how we can come together. We're working with Montclair Climate Action on these initiatives, and then maybe using that as a model for other communities, or drawing information from other communities that we've worked in through the years, and trying to take a look at what people can do in their own small business, in their own home, with their local government to address climate change and sustainability.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point of starting local. And because I've heard in a lot of circumstances that this does start, small scale, and if the more people you get on the ground floor, the more it's going to spread up. Would you be able to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it does. So we've worked in a lot of communities. We've worked in the city of Newark. We've worked in the city of Jersey City, Fair Lawn, Ridgewood, Glen Rock. We've worked out at on the shore, Jersey Shore, Ocean Gate, Holmdel, Point Pleasant Beach. And each of those communities, we've taken a look at local food waste and how to recycle it or compost it. We've looked at energy efficiency and how to make energy more efficient in your home or in your business. We've helped kind of the cities in Newark and Jersey City inventory their street trees and look at how carbon's sequestered and how those street trees are important in mitigating floods and helping to make the air clean in local neighborhoods. And by inventorying emissions, the pollution coming out of tailpipes of city vehicles, we've been able to help cities set targets for what they want to see. But some of this is very personal. It's what are you doing in your home? Are you limiting the amount of food that you're buying so you're not contributing a lot to food waste? Are you installing LED light bulbs so that you can reduce your energy use on lighting by 77% by just switching out light bulbs? And the state has really great incentives programs so they can give you free light bulbs. So there's all kinds of things that you can do locally in your home. And then that kind of helps bring an awareness to when you're in a company, when you're working, wherever you work, and how you can kind of implement those kinds of strategies and that mindset in those companies. And so it kind of goes back and forth. We work with lots of big, Fortune 500 companies and New Jersey-based companies, and help them with the same kinds of things, but on a bigger scale, like you said.
Yeah. And there's, just quickly, is there anything that you do personally to keep your own corner of the world sustainable?
Well, lately I haven't been commuting much, but we really do work on, being conservative. So I don't buy something if I don't really need it. I don't, if I am purchasing something and I have something that I'm trading it out for, I try to find a home for that, somebody else that needs it, or, you're donating to Goodwill or to someplace else. And so, kind of keeping the consumerism at bay. And then, the food waste is a really big one. So we really don't, we use leftovers. We don't really throw food waste out. And then there's composting too. So yeah, lots of things like that. You can also keep your thermostat low, in the winter, if you just knock it down a couple degrees, and in the summer, if you mimic the natural temperatures a little bit closer, you save a lot on energy use in your home and also in your businesses.
Speaking of homes and businesses, it has been a terrible year in terms of COVID and the world health. But what that has brought us, the lack of travel, it's certainly helped our environment to some extent. Is there a measure on how the past year has improved, the kind of circumstances, whether we can measure that reduced emissions of carbon or something along those lines?
Yeah, so the estimates are like 7 to 10% reduction in emissions. And we've seen places like China and LA where, the atmosphere has cleared up tremendously, or Venice where the waterways have cleared up tremendously. But the best guess is that that's going to bounce back really quickly. However, we're right on the precipice of really shifting to a lot of renewable energy and also a lot of electric vehicles and possibly some hydrogen fuel vehicles as well. So that's going to make a change as well. So I think the pandemic shows us what's possible, but I don't trust that we're going to keep everything like that. I mean, I think people will continue working from home some of the time. I know a lot of companies are postponing going back to work until the fall. So I think we have this little window to really be strategic and think about what we want to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd like to circle back to the green teams. And I think it's important not to just like name them, but identify what they do. So can you tell me about, more than just the name?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this is my passion project, so this is something I could talk about all day, but I'll keep it somewhat brief. The green teams are teams of 5 students, and they come from different disciplines and different universities. We've had students from all over the country and out of the country participate, and we partner them with corporations, nonprofits, municipalities, who all apply to have a green team. And together they achieve and deliver some of these sustainability strategies. So, they've worked on things like emissions, they've worked on waste, they've worked on food security in some of the environmental justice communities, like in the city of Newark, bringing technology into community gardens that were old vacant lots and now have been turned into these green oases, and now helping to build technology so that we know when the food is produced, how do we get it to the places where people need it? So mapping out where the bodegas are and where the people in need are so we can get that produce to them. Some of it involves some pretty technical strategies for large corporations to meet the Paris Accord agreement for a 2 degrees Celsius cap on global warming, exactly step by step what that means for a company and what you need to do in order to meet that agreement. Because a lot of companies signed the We're Still In that was put out by Ceres in order to continue to fulfill those needs even after the US pulled out of the Paris Agreement. And so a lot of companies are moving forward, and we're helping them to achieve that, because many of them have, sustainability is a new field, and it's a really cool way to access science, like you said, but sustainability is transdisciplinary. So there are business people involved, and there are people from the social sciences and the humanities involved, and we need everybody to address these sustainability issues, and we have them on the green teams, and so they work together. So I could give you a couple really cool examples. We did a project for New Jersey Natural Gas where we were trying to help them communicate with their customers about energy tips for energy reduction. And our students built out an Alexa platform. So you could say, hey, Alexa, give me an energy tip. And we had sustainability science student and computer and electrical engineering students and a writing arts major and a psychology major all working together. And by the end of the 10-week program, that Alexa tool was live, and we were working with New Jersey Natural Gas to, it was already up and running, but to keep it going after that. So, sometimes it's a local community garden, sometimes it's a multinational corporation. We worked with Honeywell to help build out a dashboard for waste so they could track waste in all of their facilities. And we worked with Bristol Myers Squibb to connect their facilities worldwide to share their sustainability tips with each other through an intranet platform. So it's a variety of different kinds of things that we do and different kinds of organizations. And this summer is exciting because we have 6 new organizations, 6 repeating organizations, 12 new teams, 60 new students coming for June 1st, and we'll be doing the launch on June 3rd. So you can tune into that as well. And maybe we'll put that on the refresh a little bit as well. So yeah, these teams, the students go on to incredible subsequent internships and jobs and graduate school in PhDs, and also professional school, law school. So some of them are graduated from law school now, and they're in amazing careers. And you'll hear about that on the refresh. So you'll hear what they're doing. You'll hear about embodied carbon in construction, and the food and health initiatives through Build a Healthier Newark, and what's going on with TerraCycle. So you'll hear about all of these kinds of things that people have gone on from the green teams to address in their own careers and career paths.
Amazing. Now, if I could ask just real quick, do you know who came up with the name The Refresh? Was it a group effort? Was it collaborative?
It was definitely a group effort.
Okay.
We have, you'll hear Brittany Portes. She's going to be the host and moderator for the refresh. And we have a media manager, Emma Lavin, who's also helping us out, and our program coordinator, Tirza Mills. And so we're all working together on this. But, the great thing about the green teams is that everyone wants good for the planet, good for their communities. And they're really willing to come back and help out. And so we've had so many green team members come back and help us continue a lot of these efforts going forward. So almost all of our staff are people who have been through the green teams program.
That's great.
If people want to find out more about the green teams or the Institute for Sustainability, where can they go?
Yeah, if they're interested in finding out more, you can go to our website, www.montclair.edu/ISS.
Ooh, International Space Station? What?
Institute for Sustainability Studies.
Institute for Sustainability Studies. Just so happens.
We do have some grants with NASA.
ISS. Oh, man.
That may be the next place that we focus our sustainability efforts, because I think there's a lot of junk out in space, right? So we might be going there next for sustainability.
I've seen WALL-E. I know how this ends up.
We're hoping to avoid that by our efforts.
Oh, amazing. I'm very excited for Science Show.
So am I. I can't wait for this to launch. And, this is just a really high level view that you'll hear today, but we'll get into like the nitty gritty details in the subsequent weeks. And so it'll be great to dig in with all of the Green Teams members and some of the company representatives going to be doing some cameos on the show as well. And so you'll hear from corporations too.
Yeah, there's a lot that's here to come at WMSC. And especially with science and sustainability. Thank you, Dr. Tuininga, for taking time off from what I'm sure is a very hectic day for you. And the refresh, if you're interested in listening to it, anybody, it airs today at 3 p.m. right here on WMSC.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for coming and talking about it.
And we are back here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is the Morning Buzz Thursdays edition. I am Josh, aka Josh.
I'm Kenny Horn, the man of 1,001 nicknames.
And I am Top 5 Isaiah.
Welcome, everyone. If you just tuned in, we were just speaking to Dr. Amy Tuininga from the PSCNG Institute of Sustainability Studies. about a collaborative effort airing at 3 p.m. today. The refresh on WMSC, very exciting.
That's right. But we've got one more story before we wrap up here today, and I've got to mention it. I've got to mention it. So we talked a lot about today, UK. Not too much American news today. So we're going to talk about Canada, another land that's cold. I like it cold if you were here from the beginning of the show.
Canada.
So
the Raptors.
Firefighters in Canada, they came to the rescue of a dog who knocked their owner's vehicle into neutral and was taking an accidental joyride.
Oh, man.
So what was happening is there was a dog moving out of a slow-moving vehicle down the road while its owner wasn't there, and someone just saw it, and firefighters were called. There's not much information besides that, but I find this story just hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Dog on the run.
Dog on the run. Yeah. I just don't understand it.
It's very cartoon-esque.
Very.
Like,
Exactly.
I feel like, didn't they do this in the Garfield movie? Am I mistaken?
That's exactly what I think. But I've got a question for you all, because this is the first thing I thought when I heard this. This story. How do you think they got the dog out?
I'm expecting. Have you guys seen that movie with the train that's just like a runaway, and the whole movie's them trying to stop the train? Like it's very interesting. We talked about it in class once, in our audio class, because this I'm getting a little off topic. The reason we talked about it is because they gave the train actual like animal noises, like they blended it in to make it seem more lifelike and make it the actual villain. Like they gave it an actual vocalization instead of just like choo choo. Like they put some tiger growl underneath it and they mixed it together. So it was like Brr! But where was I going this? Oh yeah, I imagine that's how they stopped the car. They got 3 fire trucks driving around side it. They get like some sort of hose lasso and they get the car and they're like, "Oh, slow down, doggy." I don't know why they're talking like Southerners, even though it's Canada. I'm like, "Oh boy, this car here, eh? It's pretty hard to stop. Oh, whoa there, doggy." Something like that.
Sorry, doggy, sorry.
Oh, slow down, doggy. Turn it back into park, eh? Something like that. They did that, and then they stopped it before any damages were caused. Or maybe they got like a moose, and they just boom, and they hit it. Moose are big.
Meese. No, it's not meese.
No, it's not meese.
Isaiah, do you have any ideas?
My idea is like what I was hoping it would be super, like they're down a highway right now, helicopters around, and they have him surrounded. And then at one point they're like, "Get out of the car." And then like he gets out of the car, but he's standing like a human. And he's like, "My bad, guys. I didn't mean it to get this wild. I'm just gonna go home if that's all right."
Turns out it was the owner in a dog suit the whole time.
Wait, what?
No, my idea. They had 2 giant rubber bands, okay? All right. And the fire truck was going cruise control, like 5 miles per hour behind it, same speed. And they just lassoed. But these rubber bands, they're not just rubber bands. They're like, you can attach them kind of like seat belts in a way. So like you throw it and you can attach it with a remote, okay? And it makes it become a loop. And then they do that to 2 parts of it, which makes it slow down as they pull it back a little bit, but they can't pull it back too far because then they'll hit it. That they got to be careful of that. So they'll slow it down, and then the dog is free to go. That is exactly what happened. That is not exactly what happened for news sake. I can't say that, but that's what happened in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for the documentary to come out about this, where they have him sit down, interview with the dog.
Interview with the dog. I was running for my life.
Summer blockbuster
comes out. We got a message from our general manager. I don't know if she was talking about me, but she said in the chat, "You sound Irish," in the cap between Kenny and I. And I know she wasn't talking about my Canadian accent because that was on point. If I was to talk Irish,
I think it was probably me. It was probably me. I'm not the best with accents.
No, it could have been me because
my voice is
top 5 accents.
Top 5 accents. I mean, they're all my favorite accents. So it's guaranteed.
Well, speaking of that, we're in the top 5 minutes of the show, meaning the last 5. Oh boy,
All right. So, I mean, we've got
You know what we have to do real quick. We have to circle it back to Pokemon.
exactly.
Has to
I
be
was
done.
getting there.
I
Has to
saw
be.
on Twitter the other day a poll about what your favorite Pokeball is out of
Ooh!
all the ones you can use to catch.
Oh, that's great.
And I
Okay.
think that is very interesting. Now, I'll go first. I have to say, I like to keep it classy. Nothing can beat a good Premier Ball.
Ooh.
You buy 10
What?
Pokeballs, you get that special one, nice and white with the red lining. Ooh, it's so clean.
Does it have any like added effects that make it?
No, it's
No.
just you get it for free. It's just a Pokeball, but
Yeah, that's what I thought.
special looking.
Okay. Ooh, I love this question. I was gonna ask like a different
gonna post it
question.
in the
I had
Discord.
something prepared, but no, this
Okay,
blows
something
that
prepared.
out of the water. That's good.
I'm putting it in our WMC Discord so you guys can see all of them.
I think for me, it's probably the Dusk Ball. You know, the nice little green, little black going on in there. It's super unique. And, you know, it's not the most useful, I think, though, but it looks nice.
I used to use dust balls pretty often back in Diamond Pearl days.
In
Yeah,
the
'cause
caves.
they're good. Very to catch your legendaries in those dark caves. Just throw a
Yeah,
Dusk Ball.
exactly. I like to keep it classic. I like the Pokeball.
You see,
Oh.
I don't actually hate that. Usually I hate the basic thing, but I think the design for the Pokeball is very nice. If you look at some
Yeah.
of the other ones they have, there's a lot of less desirable ones. You know, the Dust Ball is cool, Quick Ball, Net Ball, you know,
The dive
the
ball.
Beast Ball. Have you
What is
guys
the beast
seen the
ball?
Oh,
Beast
that's
Ball?
something new where I don't understand.
That
I
is
don't
a
even know that
cool
one.
look. If you look in the Discord on the random things, it's the last ball in the little post. It's very cool. It looks like an ultra wormhole used to catch
Huh.
what are they called?
Ultra Beasts.
Ultra Beast, yeah.
What game is that from? Did I
Sun and Moon.
just Sun and Moon? I
That's
guess
like-
I didn't finish it or something.
SMH. Shaking my head.
God.
The opposite of top 5.
But do you guys have that thing with Pokeballs? And this is why I like the Pokeball specifically. Like, you know how you put it like in the healer at the Poke Center?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And- Yeah, and all the balls go into the healer, and you
Boop,
just
boop, boop, boop. Yep.
and they gotta be, for me, if they're not all the same type, it drives me
Oh.
crazy.
You get
Really?
annoyed.
It drives me insane, which is why I like the Pokeball, because your starter automatically becomes in a Pokeball.
Mm.
I guess. I feel like I grew out of that. I used to be like that, but then I'm like, I like seeing how unique they are and which ball I caught them in.
Yeah, I'm
That's
very
fair.
much about diversity. You know, I love seeing different kinds of Pokeballs in my life.
Now, what's your least favorite Pokeball?
Great ball.
A Great Ball?
Easily. Looks
Really?
terrible.
That's fair.
I would say, you know, probably for me, maybe the Timer Ball.
I was gonna say that too.
Because one, you gotta wait a long time to use it.
Yeah.
And then two, it doesn't look the best. The only case that I like it for is if you catch a Dialga in it, because he's, you know, the Pokemon of
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Mm.
So you got to use the time ball for him.
That makes sense.
It's just only natural.
That's
It's actually his home. If you don't catch him in the time ball, he feels left out. But
Sure.
that just about wraps up our show here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. You have been listening to the Morning Buzz with Josh, aka Josh.
Kenny Horn, the man of 1,001 nicknames.
And the only top 5 Isaiah.
Thank you all for tuning in this past hour. The Morning Buzz airs every weekday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We will be back tomorrow. Not we, the proverbial we, meaning the people of the Buzz, will be back tomorrow for your Friday show. But the we that are in the studio, that are in the Zoom right now, will be back next week to give you more Thursday news. Woo! Woo! Thank you all for listening, and bye-bye.